The mystery village continues as we have lots of questions kind of going into this. Even though we don't really, we have a theory of what's going to happen. So I guess we are questioning if that is correct. But if we were to just assume that this theory is for the most part correct, we have to then take the next step, which should open up like millions of questions, which we're going to get into here going forward. And I'm very excited for that. The only concern I've been having since the last episode now is there a possibility that the letter we received wasn't recognition on Elsa's part, which was like initial feelings that I possibly could have, that she might be recognized and like approved of her situation or position, and then they could continue protecting the things in which they wanted to. But now I'm starting to think like the church wouldn't do that, especially because she's a woman and her trying to be a priest and everything wouldn't really work. So what if they told her they're sending like a high ranking person, a high ranking like member of the church, which is kind of what most of the people in the town and everything were looking for. And they're going to send them and they're going to essentially take over what Father Francis' job initially was. And she thinks it'll be a good thing and they'll be understanding, but in reality, they won't be. And things are going to get really complex really fast here. I don't know. I don't know if they also have the ability to just do that. I'm assuming they do. I mean, they built the damn thing, right? Like it's their church. So I don't really know. We're about to find out, I guess. We'll see what happens. Hopefully you guys enjoy. If you look at all the like and subscribe, the may feel free to stick around for the discussion. Leave me comments with this episode or series. I'll go on episode 22. Let's try this again.
何のご用ですか？エヴァンさんからお聞きしたのですが、何か大変な状況だったようですね。また修道院のことですか？
No. We know what it
村長
is.
さんもご存知なかったので、一杯食わされたのかもしれません。そうですか。なので、もう立つことにしたのですが、こちらの教会で道中の安全をお祈りしたく思いまして。
Alright. Guess we have to accept that.
信仰の熱い方だったんですね。
To a certain level.
ええ、そうですね。ただ、言われるまで気がつきませんでした。ではお祈りをしましょう。
I don't understand that.
残業したく、私は嘘をつきました。自分の利益のために相手を騙しました。あなたは
Plenty of times in life, actually.
告白する勇気はありますか？あります。恐れることはありません。神は正しき信仰に目覚めた方にはいつも寛大です。私は今日嘘をつきました。偽りの目的を告げて相手を騙すため。
Put we inside, bitch.
それはどなたに？
Thou who sits before me.
エルサさん。私は嘘をついたことを神の面前で告白いたしました。そして真実を告げます。あなたに
I will tell
イン
you.
ドラン修道院の場所を聞きに来ました。いえ、私はまた嘘をつきました。場所を聞きに来たのではありません。エルサさん、ここは D エンドラン修道院ですね。
Well, you dare to lie before.
道院長、間違いありませんね。ここは神の面前です。
Yes.
嘘をつくことは許されない。私たちはフランツ司祭が集めた異教の神々の話を知りたいのです。エルサさんの心配はフランツ司祭の行いがエンベルクにバレないか
Yes.
ですね。
So how can we prove that? Because this is what I was wondering. Are we gonna reveal it to her?
という質問に満足に答える。
Yeah, you're not gonna be happy with what we're about to show you.
難しい。
If she does what I think. Okay, so we are. So exactly as I was expecting.
触ってみるかい？
I do. I would like to. It's too much for her.
よその領主がこの教会の後ろ盾になるって内容だった。
Right.
届くまで毎晩忙しかったんだろう。考えていたよりも辛い状況にあったのかもしれない。
All of it's catching up to you.
大丈夫ですか？
You people. Here for more questioning.
ではなかったのですね。
夢と思ってくれた方が助かるの。
悪魔は人に夢を見せて騙すと言いますが。
I'm talking to you.
私たちは目的が達せられれば夢であったかのように感じています。
So treat it like that.
ここにはフランツ司祭が集めた記録があるはずです。なぜそんなものを？
Trying to get her
ワッチャー故郷
home.
に帰りたい。
同時にフランツ司祭の後を継ぐものです。
うん。
私はあなたを悪魔つきだとは疑いません。フランツ司祭は悪魔つきなどいないと常々言っていましたから。つい
Interesting.
てきてください。大切なものはいつだって礼拝堂の裏に隠すものです。神の許しが得られますように。
Is Father Franz buried here too? Just the notes. Just the stories. Actually, no, they said he was buried in the cave, right? Or am I all kinds of fucked up? Oh, I remember.
私が先に。
The hidden tunnels. Going to the sewers.
気をつけて。
There might be more down there. She's not telling us. Gotta stay suspicious.
お待たせしました。
いえ、それは
手紙です。私宛ての。地下には本がありました。おそらくあなた方の探すものだと思います。
持ち出して読んでも。
教会の中だけでお願いできますか？
You shall sleep down there tonight. Close it and trap him.
お礼とともにお詫びします。
ええ、確かに強引でしたからね。しかしフランツ司祭はお喜びでしょう。自分の集めた話は作り話ではない。
And being proven right in front of your eyes.
その間に人を呼ばれるかもしれません。
私は真実の信仰を抱いて生きています。罠にはめるようなことはいたしません。先ほどの礼拝堂でも私は嘘をついたわけではありません。
私が罠にはめたわけですからね。
商人の方は油断ならないと覚えておきます。
It's so many.
この教会は裕福ではありませんので。
It's not. Get to reading, buddy.
金袋を減らすことだと聞きました。
感謝いたします。
Thank you for your donation. The church is
神の
very
ご加護があり
grateful.
ますように。もっと大きな。
私は懺悔を聞くことはできませんが、相談くらいならば多少は乗ることができます。ただし、真摯に話を聞けるのは金儲け以外についてですが。
Everything is skewed if money's involved.
のがいいのかもしれません。聞いていただけますか？
満足のいく返答をできるかは保証しかねます。
Yeah, some answers better than no, probably.
もしもあの地下室に集められた話が嘘ではないとすれば、
すれば
私たちが信じる神は嘘なのでしょうか？
の
父は
Great question. Great question,
北の
also.
神々の話を集めていました。それの方がもしも本当に異教の神なら私たち
And
の
everybody else has been telling us we're wrong, has been wrong this whole
私にはわかり
time.
ません。
That's fun.
と聖典を持ってあなた方を責め立てる勇気が私にはありません。それがいいことなのか悪いことなのか、
フランツ司祭は間違っていないと思います。
それはなぜですか？
I mean, look at Hollow. Oh, Lord, who is this? Elder Sam.
だと思います。あなた方からよその国や町の教会のありようを聞いているということにします。これは嘘というよりも。
ええ、わかりました。私の経験談でよければお話ししますよ。
We'll make it the truth right now. Don't worry about it. We will work together.
一人は会いたと言ったじゃろうが。
This is where he sits at the beginning of the OP, right? Except she's not here. Where's that noise coming from?
お、バカ。
村長は一応変えられましたが、その先ほどの
What are you doing in my chair?
では後ほど。
No, 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 no.
お前な。
Alright, Hollow.
寄付も受け取ったし、そういう打算が通じる相手さ。何よ
That's fair.
神は
That's
信用
fair.
できなくても神を信じる者たちは信用できる。フランツ司祭が異教の神々の話を集めていたのは、神がいることを確信するためじゃないのかと思う。毎日毎日祈っても姿すら見せてくれなければ、本当にいるのかどうか疑いたくなるだろう。
Yep.
だから よその家がどうなってるか気になったんじゃないか。
Yep.
もしも異教の神が存在するなら、教会の神もいないはずがないと。
神などおらぬ。この世は教会の神が作り、それを人が借りておるだけだと連中が勝手に考えておるだけじゃ。
まあ、それでも感じたかったんだろう。神の存在を。
They're gonna fence at it 100%. There's no way they don't. They're gonna come to some conclusion by the end of this arc that regardless of what you do, it's okay, or that there is possibility because there's hope that either thing, 1,000,000%. I'd love to be proved wrong, but I find it very hard to believe that they come straight out and they tell you like, yes, one thing is true, or yes, like one or the other. There's just no shot.
いろいろな地方の商人が乗り合わせるからな。例えば、エブゴドという地方から来た商人のパンは、ものすごく塩辛いんだ。
塩辛いパンだなんて。なあ。へえ。やっぱり外の世界にはいろいろなものがあるんだ
Yep.
な。
And it helps her gain a little
今日
more
はわざわざご
information.
馳走を用意していただいてありがとうございました。
いえ、たくさん寄付をしていただきましたから。
後でまた外の世界のこと聞かせてくれよ。
エヴァンは文字の練習です。
もう。
ああ、そうだ。昼間の質問のことですが。
自分で考えてみます。尋ねる前に考えよ。フランツ司祭の口癖でしたから。
Fair. Can we get some Father France flashbacks? That'd be sick.
片付けを手伝って。
Seems like a cool dude.
お皿だけじゃなくてパンくずも拾って。
はいはい、分かってるって。
お行儀悪いから食べちゃダメよ。
言われなくても食べないよ。
本当かしら。エヴァンっていつも腹。
They're a reverse. She's the he's Elsa in the relationship.
え、そんなに変なこと言ったか。
You're paying attention to others? Oh, so you can see it.
わっちも大概その己の強いところとよ。
Relax, relax.
そんな羨ましそうに言わんでほしい。わっちも
Cyan.
いや分かっておる。分かっておるが。
I'll try and
わっちら
change.
も相当たわけておるじゃろ。なんでこんなこっぱずかしいのかわっちにもわからぬ。じゃが仲が良さそうなどならわっちとは。
いや、それはそうなんだが。
Relax.
その、なんというか。いや、わかったわかった。わかっていたんだ。ただ、きちんと言葉にしたくなかった。俺は確かに羨ましいと思った。だが、それは二人の仲そのものじゃない。
In fact, they can communicate to each other
二
well.
人はこの先も教会で暮らすだろう。
Ah,
俺たちはどうだ。
the ability to stay
お前は故
together.
郷への手がかりを得た。そして、俺はその手伝い。
Once we reach our destination, where do we go? What happens to the pairing?
故郷に帰ったら、その先どうするんだ。
You join me on my travels? Will we split? Will we never see each other again? Plenty of questions. Valid questions.
わからぬ。
故郷を見て、それで満足なわけがないだろ
Nope.
う。いや、よそう。悪かった。
わっちゃ堅牢ホロじゃ。わっちゃ唯一の堅牢ホロじゃ。
お
わっちゃ唯一の堅牢ホロ。
Stand proud.
おなほ
文句あるかや。
いや
Oh, the special one. You always know it's good when there's just a random paper stuff then.
私の予想が正しければ、我々の神は戦わずして勝利したことになる。しかし私はそれに平静でいられない。私はこの本をまとめた時に、神の存在をあまりにも強く感じた。
できれば狭い心の中で我々の神を崇めるものではなく、広い草原で心地よい風のごとく神を愛する者たちに判断してもらいたい。
The spies. They're here.
月を狩る熊の本が見つかった。
They're here. The ops are here.
机にあった書類を見る限り、エンベルクはこの村に手を出せないはずでは。
商人の方の目ざとさには感服しますね。私もそう思っていたのですが。
私は旅の人間です。何かしらの問題が起こると非常に危険な立場です。
Has many
私がいる限り
times.
そのような無法は許しません。地下室を閉めてください。
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You know they're gonna come in. You know they're gonna look. You know they're gonna find that. Why would you do that? Unless they don't, and we're just setting it up so she can just drive by and grab it later. Damn, they just running in this bitch.
私は農園商業組合に所属しています。在クメルスン商館には私がこの村にいることを知っている者が多数。
If something happens to me, they will be here.
何も悪意からではありません。
No, 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 Evan, stay away.
エンベルクでこの村の麦を食べた者が死にました。
Oh, fuck, Evan. What's the opposite of everything I thought was going to happen? This episode is really, really, really cool, in my opinion. And it has a ton of really cool stuff in it, but maybe not a ton of stuff I want to discuss. So it might be rather short. I'll just lay that out. The entirety, for the most part of it, is kind of just proving that Lawrence was correct, which was what I was assuming from the previous episode. For the most part, he's correct at least, and everything up to this point has been proving that. And then it was discussing things a little further with Elsa and discussing things a little bit further with Hollow. And then we find ourselves with two really big and main points throughout this, and that's kind of it, I think. There might be like more specifics and little things that we really want to dive into and go into throughout this, but for the most part, that's kind of where we are. So we're gonna skim through the episode, and then when each of those two scenes come up, we will talk about them a little bit, and we'll go on our day, and everybody will have a grand old time, right? So we come in, we trick Elsa. This scene's really fun, you know, putting it before God, making things really, really interesting, coming clean multiple times about the lies and the things that we did, the tricks that we did to be able to get on the insides and get in here with her. Really fun. This, they do exactly as I expected last time. I don't know. So I don't know the execution over all of this. I don't know how to necessarily feel. And it's strictly because I'm unable to think of a better way to actually do it. But the assumption is to make proof of what is occurring here. We have to show proof of Hollow being a god herself, right? So the only way that we could have done that to get her kind of on our side to realize that we're not like these spies and we're not like whatever was to show this, which was my assumption. But the fear that came in was, well, we know that they have a problem and they view people like her, and especially wolf gods and everything, as the devil. So this is going to be a problem, and we can't necessarily do that. So the simple solution that they kind of go off on is, oh, by the way, Father Franz never thought of those people like that, and he instilled in that since a young age for me. So all good over here. I don't know. It feels kind of like we're going to present something that could be a really big problem, and then we'll just dismiss it entirely and act like that wasn't, like there's almost no purpose to like really bring it, besides maybe like try and build tension that gets really relieved instantly and feels kind of, I don't know. It just doesn't make it as satisfying as I think it should. And also her just falling into like almost like a stress panic here and passing out, as opposed to like making maybe more of like a scene or a bigger deal about it. I think that's maybe more of just what I would have preferred, is something maybe more coming out of her own end, and the possibility also that we don't just kind of rely on the fact that she feels a certain way that maybe the others don't or whatever. Well, it tracks entirely, so there's no complaint on that. Like it makes sense that this guy who was researching and looking into these things probably wouldn't view things in a similar light to like everybody else. The fact that they were all like taught and believing of these things, well, he is the one individual, and the one other individual that we run into are brought up in a slightly different way, feel just kind of weird to me. I don't know. I think I just would have, like, if we're gonna lay a trap kind of like this, or we're gonna lay something and put a little bit out there, a little bait, and be like, this is bad, we don't do this, and then just kind of be like, actually it's not that big a deal, don't stress it too much. I don't know. I just feel like it should be a little bit stronger than that part actually came out. Anyway, she passes out, we get proof overall, and we kind of explain to her our whole situation of what we are going in. Oh, they're not possessed by the devil, it's whatever. Here, I'll show you all the goods. So we basically come in here, we have a whole bunch of the good shits. We start reading our books. We have some fun times and conversations between them. We give her some money. She's struggling and all that, all the good stuff, all the thanks as well. It puts us in a good grace with her going forward. She can protect us to the best of her ability with the multiple different intruders and stuff that we get into at different points of the episode. And then we get into the first real big question and like really interesting thing that definitely is happening here. It's the beginning of questioning one's own faith, where Elsa has to come into this. And this is a classic thing that happens within life in general with a lot of people believing in something entirely and having one interaction or encounter with something that maybe dismisses that entirely or gets you onto a different train of thought. And we get to see that completely here. She has entirely been brought up that these certain things, this is the way of living, this is how things kind of are throughout time, while looking up to Father Franz being somebody who wasn't as close-minded when it comes to these things and kind of trying to believe in and figure out what these other things are and maybe prove the existence of the pagan gods and everything themselves. So now when you come face to face with one, what do I have? I've been taught something my entire life, but that essentially just got disproven. The people that I'm supposed to look up to, those who can do no wrong, who will not lie, who do all this other stuff, end up showing me that the thing they've been telling me doesn't exist exists. So what am I supposed to believe here? What's left of me? And I think that's really fascinating. I'm not going to go too in detail or in depth with any of that stuff. We could definitely do a little bit more of that, but I gotta be honest, I don't really want to, because then you just kind of get into a big problem with everybody complaining about things regarding religion and stuff. So I'm not really interested in that. What I will say is I am cautious for the execution of this, of the actual landing that they're going to have here, because it feels very much we're going to fence it entirely. Feels very much we're going to, it's kind of okay to believe in anything that you want to. The church was possibly just stating this as a way to protect you and make people not live in fear of these other things. Either thing could be kind of correct. Who actually knows? There actually is a God. We'll prove that. Maybe all existence of everything kind of is something that they'll go with. It doesn't feel like they're gonna strictly go to a right or wrong in Elsa's, but you know what I mean? Like it feels like we're just gonna give her like reason and everybody else reason, and even the viewers and stuff that kind of believe that their beliefs and the things that they've kind of been brought up to can't be disproved by like something like this, and that's just not the truth. And there might be like other little things in there, but it just feels like we're headed a route like that. I mean, that's what most shows and things kind of do. It doesn't seem like most people don't really want to take a stance when it comes to stuff like that, which I mean, there's no complaint there. It just is kind of, it would be unfortunate, because I think that it spices things up and makes them way more interesting of a conversation to potentially have. And especially because we are in, while taking large, things from real life and everything, this is fantastical in some sort of sense that we should maybe play around with that a little bit. So if we don't push it to the extremes at certain moments, it feels like it could be a little underwhelming. So we'll see how they land it, right? Like there's no complaints on it, even if they do decide to just go the route that I'm fully expecting. But I think it would be a very welcome surprise for me if they decide to go a different direction. But essentially, that's where this whole conversation comes. I really like his mention of, I am a merchant, and if this involves money, I can't help you, because my decision is going to be looked at through a different lens than you. But if it's not, I can help you out, and I can try and do whatever it is that I must do. We're getting interrupted by Elder Sim. Well, we are on good terms with each other. Things are good. This is really cute between the two of these, and I'll force them into this. And what I really like the most out of it is Elsa walking in and being like, let's talk later. You guys can be alone. I think it's really funny. Hala does as well. We learn a little bit. Evan ends up deciding to show up later, and we get to learn some stuff. We get to watch on and see some really cute stuff kind of between them. Also, can somebody explain to me what the significance of this is? They show it multiple times, and they're like, talk about how that definitely made him a good person or priest or whatever. And I have zero clue what the hell a crack in the floor is supposed to signify and like mean. I have zero idea. At first, I thought it was like an area that had the tile or something was like kind of like an indent in it at like a certain point, almost as if like he was like kneeling before it or at that same spot for so long, and it just shows like the hard work and consistency and everything that kind of within him. But I don't know, looking at this picture, I don't get that same vibe anymore. Maybe that is the case. I don't really know though, so definitely explain that, please. Fun conversations and stuff between them. He gets to explore and explain some things about places further out that they've never had the capabilities of adventuring to, or maybe even heard stories and stuff from, which is great for both parties involved. And then we get to see some cute little bickering kind of between the two of them, which we definitely really like, and it makes Lawrence kind of realize the sort of relationship that they have. Lawrence feels very much like Elsa in the situation, where Evan, who's like kind of like the little absent-minded one at time and like can be easily like taken over by the different things kind of surrounding him, almost feels like Hollow. Not entirely, but like in certain points, which then gets her into her own little mood here. And both of them start like looking at their relationship from like a different sort of perspective after actually interacting and seeing somebody with another like budding relationship. I think is really funny. And then he proposes the second most interesting thing throughout this, which is an extremely good point and something that's going to be important going forward. They do talk about the moon bear and all this other stuff, which is like definitely like relevance, and it seems to believe that there is an existence of one, whether that means we're going to come in contact with that coming forward throughout this, or that's just something to look out for, you know, going further into the future. I don't really necessarily know, but we're going to kind of leave that as is for what it is. But it's the idea of the relationship that the two of them have, and the bringing up of that I think is really fascinating. The entire time we've been working on a journey for Hollow, we've been going here for you, we are going to get you home, that is the purpose, we are enjoying our time together, all this other good stuff, and we start questioning our relationship and things now. Well, how important is this to you that we're going to bring you home? You know for a fact you're not going to just look at it and be okay with the fact that it's destroyed, and if it's not, you're not going to be okay with just confirming that and leaving. So if that were to be the case, what happens with us? I have to leave. I have a job. I have things I have to do. Where do we go from there? What is our role going to end up being? Oh, I haven't thought of that. You've been so focused on exactly what you kind of want that we haven't really thought about us as a group or how that's going to work. And I think that's really cool because now it forces that really into each of their minds, especially going forward. And it's not something that they can actively just keep avoiding. Well, they can. It'll definitely be in the back of the minds of somebody. And if you get presented with that opportunity at the last possible minute and then you have to make your decision, then it almost feels kind of like a waste. And we need to kind of confirm things and work them out, whether it's through communication or just whatever, before we get to that destination, which definitely comes forward here. And it definitely forces them to really question their own relationship and everything here. He wants her to read a little bit about it. We don't get to necessarily read if there's any more to it outside of what he actually read to us. She hides it under the table for some reason. I feel like that's a really bad idea, because these guys are clearly coming in here for Lawrence, which they didn't state was the case because they have no ill things or whatever, but they're definitely coming in here for Lawrence. So they're probably going to turn the place up and probably find it. So if you hide it a little better, it probably would be better, but I don't know, whatever. Lawrence immediately comes forward, states he's with Rowan. This definitely causes some pushback from them. I mean, you can visually see that. My assumption on that would just be any issue that they cause through what we end up finding out later with the poisoning possibly within the wheat or the bread or whatever could be passed off onto him, and then would overall make the society themselves, would make the guild themselves look bad, right? And we don't want that at all, because then that would cause bad issues just in general. But if they accuse him of something that seems to be wrong, he can report that back. And also if something happens with him, people are aware of where exactly he is. That looks bad for them overall, because this is a big group of people, right? And you don't really want to cause issues there. So they have to be extremely careful with how they want to kind of approach this. And I'm assuming entirely all they want to do, due to the fact that somebody ended up dying through the wheat that ended up coming directly from our village, they probably just want to question some people and get to the bottom of it. And of course, suspicion directly goes on to Lawrence, because if Lawrence is the one who is responsible for this, we then get to push things off on him and be like, this was a traveler, this is not somebody who is a part of us, and then it keeps their village safe at the end of the day. Now if it falls off on somebody within the village, this then gives Enbridge like reason to come in probably and fuck things up and say screw our contract and all these other things and just go for it, which is a big concern and not something that you necessarily want, because I mean, you're killing people in their own thing. We can't trust you anymore for shit, so we have to kind of go with that, which is not a great thing. And then unfortunately Evan's here and has to hear this in the exact moments that it happens. So yeah, pretty cool. And I think some of the questions are really awesome, and I'm excited to see how they plan to maybe resolve them. Some of them probably not throughout this arc directly, but we will see. I'm not going to really make predictions because I got no fucking idea what's happening with the wheat and all that other stuff. My assumption is it has nothing to do with Lawrence. They're going to try and play it off and really push the fact that that could be the case, but it probably has something to do with like an outsider or somebody that we haven't actually been introduced to at any point here, who might play maybe a bigger role within the story, who might play just a role in general throughout the remainder of this arc, who might just be maybe from that town and may have set something up and is trying to push it all off onto somebody of this town to then get the agreement and everything kind of thrown away and do whatever they got to do. I think that's probably more likely, but we will end up seeing on that. And hopefully some of our answers and stuff get answered going forward. My guess is too, we're going to leave town. I think that would make the most sense, is for us to go out of our way and then go probably to Enbridge and actually talk to some people there, maybe figure out about the people who died, maybe try and trace their steps a little bit and figure things out, and get to the bottom of things a little bit more, which then could cause even more issue for us up and abandoning this place and not being able to keep an eye on everything that's happening. So things are starting to spice up. So I'm excited to get into more. Hopefully you guys did enjoy, though. If you liked it all, like and subscribe to the mods, may feel free to check out the videos and channel, leave comments with this video series. I'll be back for episode 23 very soon. I always agree one. Peace.